Rothschild, Jay and Toby Siegel, Bruce Beam, Charles, Daphnis Bream, Deborah Bream, Dina, Eddie Rosen, Ellen, Howard Bayrish, a few people without names, Jacob Rothschild, Jane Friedman, Jeffrey Bendix, Joanne Millman, Judy, June 1st, Kathleen Laurie, Kayla, Larry, Laura Alexander, Leslie Sims, Lisa P., Lisa Siegler, Laura Mae Simkoff, Lynn Schmeltzer, Marshane Griffin, Mary, Norma Geller, Ona and Richard, Pamela Nidus, Rebecca Greenspan, Robert Rosen, Sandra Schwartz, Susan, Ted Tsai, Wendy and Raina Sims, Will Hartley, Zach Schulman, and Nancy. Okay, so I think everyone can see okay.
Also,
Thank you so much.
turn your volume all the way down so we don't hear if anybody else
Right.
talks.
All right, good thinking. Okay. Awesome. That's good. So, good. So just before we start, I'm going to give you a ribbon, okay? We're going to first put the ribbons on you, and then you're going to tear them together with us, okay? So I'll let your granddaughter help you. You just put on her right neck, her collar. Like, just put it right up there. Darcy, so just go ahead and put it on your right. You know, there's come over here. Your left side, excuse me. Okay. Your brother, where's your brother? And then who you want, and then your face, sorry. I'll put it on for you. You put it as a child, just on the left. You want to put it in any particular place? No? Okay.
Right.
Okay. Alright. And we have a sister on Zoom, and we can't give her the ribbon, but we have her in mind for the tearing. So what we're going to do now is we're going to say a blessing over the tearing of the ribbon. Okay? And the idea of the blessing is that we are going through hard times, we're going through difficult times, and our custom shouldn't be to hide our fear and our pain and our sadness. We put it on the outside so that all of us here, we know about it, and we can be supportive and helpful, and we can go through it together. So we tear on the outside of our clothing, and we say the blessing, and the blessing's theme is that God is a true judge. That even though we don't understand his way of working, things seem very unfair sometimes, it doesn't make sense to us, but we still try to have faith and strength in those times. So that's the theme of the blessing that we'll say. We'll say it in Hebrew, and then we'll say it in English. Okay? So just you can follow along with me in the Hebrew, or you can just say Amen. Okay? So we say Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Dayan HaEmet. Blessed are you, O Lord, King of the universe, who is the true judge. You say Amen. Okay? So you can do it yourself, or someone can help you. But you basically just take the ribbon and you make a little tear, just like that. Okay? So you do it yourself, okay?
Whoa. Kind of went good. Sorry.
Alright folks, we're going to get started. Everyone's comfortable. I wanted to welcome everyone to the service today. My name is Akiva Feinstein, and I work together with Cantor Gary Paller at Montefiore. And I didn't have the merit to know Richard, but I had the merit to hear a lot of amazing tales about his wife, about Roma, from her nurses and social workers, and the amazing occurrences in her house of her strength and her perseverance and her amazing personality that everyone connects to. So it's my honor to be able to help if I can in a difficult time like this, as we say our goodbyes, as we give thanks, to our most beloved Richard W. Shapiro. He's a person who doesn't need a lot of introductions because his connections with humankind, with his family, with his friends are so strong. He was a beloved son, husband, father, teacher, and good friend to so many. Everyone you speak to about him, when you mention his name, you get such pleasant, beautiful things that they say. They can only say more and more lovely things. So we join together as a community of friends and family in the sadness of his loss, which indeed is a true sadness, certainly to his wife and to his children and his grandchildren, but to the whole community of Cleveland at large. I wanted to begin with a selection from the Psalms. We read Psalm 23, which will be chanted now by our cantor.
Adonai Rohi lo echsar binot deshe yarbitzeni al mei menuchot yenaleini ישובל ינחני במעגלי צדק ינחני במעגלי צדק למען שמו גם כי אלך בגץ על מוות לא ירא רע כי אתה עמדי שבטך ומשענתך המה ינחמוני תערוך לפני שולחן נגד צורריי דישנת בשמן ראשי כוסי רוויה אך טוב החסד ירדפוני כל ימי חיי ושבתי בבית אדוני לאורך ימים. אדוני רואי לא אחסר. אדוני רואי
We say together the English translation of this psalm, of the 23rd Psalm. If you know the words, please feel free to follow along. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. We read an additional psalm, the 130th Psalm, first in Hebrew, then in English. Shir hamalos mimamakim karasicha adinai. Adonai shema v'koli tiaz nacha kashuvos v'kol tachanunai. Im avonois tishmarya Adonai v'yamod. Ki imcha haslicha leman tiverei. Kivisi Adonai kivisa nafshi v'lid varo hochalti. Nafshi l'Adonai mishamrim lo loiker shamrim lo loiker. Yisrael Yisrael El Adonai, Ki Im Adonai Chesed V'Harbei Imai Fados, V'Hu Yiftei Yisrael Mikol Avonaisav. A psalm of the ascents. From the depths I called you, O Lord. My Lord, hear my voice. May your ears be attentive to the sound of my pleas. If you preserve mistakes, O Lord, who could survive? For with you is forgiveness, that you may be feared. I put confidence in God, my soul puts confidence, and I hope for his word. I yearn for my Lord among those longing for the dawn, those longing for the dawn. Let Israel hope for God, for with God is kindness, and with him is abundant redemption. And he shall redeem all of Israel from all of their difficulties. It's our Jewish tradition to offer at a person's funeral the eulogies. And the eulogies achieve many purposes. One purpose that's probably the most important purpose is that the person with us today, our dear Richard, he hears the words that we say. He derives nachas, he derives great joy from how everyone noticed how hard he tried, how much thing mattered, how much it was so important to him, the people in his life. Those will give his soul eternal bliss and happiness and feel like all the suffering and all the struggle was worth it. But it's also for us to inspire us that we could be as great as him. All the things that he did, all the things he gave up, the kind of person that he was, it should inspire us to be bigger and to be better and to be greater. And especially his children and his grandchildren. They should follow in the beautiful lead that he established for his family. I wanted to share with you just a few details about his life because the most important part of the eulogies, the part that comes from his family and friends, will follow me today. Richard W. Shapiro was born May 11, 1938, in Squirrel Hill, a suburb of Pittsburgh. His parents Joseph and Helen, his sister Judy. He studied at Pitt and received degrees from Kent State, including a Master's of Business Administration, an MBA. One of the first associations with him is that he was an educator par excellence. He taught literally thousands and thousands of students at Tri-C, Cuyahoga Community College, teaching business, management, and economics. He became so good at what he taught that he wrote a textbook on the subject that he used in his very classroom. And much of his teaching skills were understanding other people, teaching humans how to relate to humans, understanding the economy of people that is around us. And I think he was such a great teacher because he knew his subject very well, but he also knew his students very well, and he cared for them greatly. And that's why he was able to have a 40-plus year career at the same college in the same subject. As I alluded to before, he has a very special Eshet Chayil, a special woman of valor, in his wife Roma. Together, the two of them fought their various illnesses with great strength and support and love for one another. They had 55 years behind them of a good, solid marriage where they were a team, getting through life's challenges, raising good children, and living a good life together. 55 years of building and learning about each other. And I know Richard's plan was to go through all the things he had to go through medically to finally get back home to be with his beloved wife and to take care of her. And that they would enjoy their lives together after these difficult months of separation. But unfortunately it wasn't in the cards, but I know that his strength and his spirit and his soul hovers over you, Roma, so closely, he will forever. And he is in heaven now, and he's praying for us and looking down upon you and blessing you with only strength and goodness and things for his whole family. The two of you two were blessed with lovely children. I know I can see from the little time we've had together how much you revere and how much you care for them greatly. Mark and Darcy, you guys are so involved in all the different things in their life. And Mark, you spoke about how your father would spoil you and he would take you to all kinds of places when you were a little kid. And you're even happy that he got you your first job, which was digging worms for a fish farm. Hardly a glamorous job, but you talked about it like it was the CEO of a major corporation because it was something your dad took care of and got for you. You said you used to go wherever you could to be with your dad, and most recently, you came whenever you could to the hospital, trying to come to his hospital bed, giving him a smile, giving him some encouragement, trying to make him feel better when things were so difficult. And you were telling me that you enjoyed talking with your dad so much, and whether it was over a fishing pole, waiting for a fish to bite, or was waiting for a lunch every weekend, the time that you and your dad spent were so dear to him, and certainly so dear to you. And not only was he blessed with great kids, but I see he has a great son-in-law, Jason, who seems to be very busy helping and doing and making everyone happy. And he made it possible that he and Darcy could bring you guys two beautiful grandchildren, with Duncan and with Delaney over here, who made a huge trip to be here at this important thing. So in addition to this family who loves him and will miss him, many, many friends in Cleveland are here on the Zoom and will certainly miss him in many ways. He was a guy who loved to read books. You could talk to him about what he read in a very deep way. And he loved the Cleveland jazz music scene. He loved his jazz. He loved his music so much. But that's just the beginning of his life story. And for the rest, I call upon the people who had the privilege and the tremendous honor of knowing him for much, much longer than I did. So I first call upon his devoted daughter, Darcy, to say a few words. Mark, you want to say a few words?
Sure.
So, we'll give him the difficult job of breaking the ice. I know he can do it.
Okay. Growing up with my father was a great experience. He traveled around the country, in Mexico as well as Canada. We went to every Indians postseason game in the glory years. And one game I even got 2 foul balls, one for me and one for him. And we went to the U.S. Open, where we shook hands with the current president, a man most people adore. He was the type of person who gave cash to the poor and musicians. I ask in his memory, very only would give cash to performers and the poor. He always had a smile on his face, was nice to everyone he encountered. Thank you, Dad, for giving me life, as well as my sister, for being such a good husband to my mother. In closing, my favorite moment was when we met George Carlin at a book signing. My dad asked him if he was appearing anywhere, to which George Carlin replied, "I'm here," to the laughter of the crowd. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. All right, so we'll call upon Darcy to say a few words for us.
My dad was such a fun, nice, loving, and goofy guy. Everyone loved him. Couldn't come up with a reason not to, even if he wanted to. I'm so fortunate to have a wonderful father like him, always so generous, rarely saying no, and always there for me. I remember when I was really young, my dad would play school with me. He would stay in my room, in my make-believe classroom, and do worksheets and listen to me teach. Seemed like hours to my young self. It was probably not that long. But he always got his work done on time, just not so neat. And he must have really, really loved that role reversal of me being the teacher and not him. Then as I got older, he remained generous and giving, letting me use his car all the time, and what teen didn't want to drive around in a convertible? Oh, and his love of convertibles was definitely fierce, even though it wasn't the most practical car to have in Cleveland. If I got in a little fender bender, which may have happened once or not, it wasn't a big deal. It was okay. If I was okay, and the car would be fixed. Then his title turned to grandfather when my kids were born. He was great at that too. Being funny for the kids, playing with them, reading to them, or taking them out for ice cream, one of his favorite things to do. He was also a great husband, so dedicated, compassionate, and so very helpful. Always, and especially these last few years with my mom. He did so much and never complained. He was also a great loyal friend, and he cherished all of those lifelong friendships with his tennis buds, his college friends, his co-workers, or even people he just had met. As many of you know, Dickie liked to make conversation. He was not shy. He would make even the quietest person in the room crack a smile or say a little something. He asked lots of questions and was always engaged. Growing up, we drove to Pittsburgh a lot, where my dad grew up, to visit my grandma and other relatives and friends. We took the toll roads there, and every time we pulled into a toll booth. Instead of saying the normal, "Hi, how are you?" he'd open up with, "How's business today?" Which generally got a good laugh and helped the attendant break up the monotony of their day in the toll booth. Dickie loved to get a good laugh. He told lots of jokes, usually ones so corny you couldn't help but laugh, or ones that he'd butcher the punchline so bad, or completely forget the punchline, we'd all crack up, and so would he'd crack up, and so would everyone else. My dad wasn't just a great father, grandfather, husband, and friend. He was a great son, brother, uncle, and so much more. Always pretty content and enjoyed the simple things in life. Great music, tennis, reading, lots and lots of reading. Great getting ice cream and enjoying time with family and friends. I will miss you so much, Dad, and cherish all our memories forever and ever. And as he would always say, love you the mostest.
Now we're going to call upon Wendy Sims, who's joining us through Zoom. Just give me a second to get ready. So Wendy, I'm going to unmute you in just a moment when I find you. Okay, so I see Wendy is unmuted. Okay, Wendy, you can see me, right? You can see the group? Okay, so let's get started here. I'm going to pick up the microphone and we're going to go ahead and start. All right, Wendy, I'm not hearing you. You're not muted, are you? It says you're not muted. Yeah, yeah. Okay, Wendy, can you say hello a couple times? Can I ask you a favor? Could you call maybe Darcy's phone, and I could put Darcy's phone up to the microphone?
She can call.
Okay. So Darcy's gonna call you, Wendy, okay? And then we'll put you through the telephone. Okay, I'll do it.
Hello?
Okay, Wendy, I can hear you nice and clear, okay? I'm putting you up to the microphone now. So
Okay.
feel free to get started. We can hear you really well.
Now, if I mute myself, can you still hear me? Can you still hear me?
Yeah, she just doesn't want to hear everyone else.
Okay. I'm Dick's niece, Wendy Sims, joining in with my daughter, Raina, from Columbia, Missouri. My late dad, Philip Sims, was Roma's older brother. Uncle Dick and I shared careers as college professors. His 40 years of teaching is quite extraordinary. He enjoyed working with the students and was always encouraging to me about college teaching. He would pull me aside at family gatherings or to take us to brunch when we were in Cleveland and called every so often just to check up on things and chat. It was fun to talk shop with him because most people don't understand the crazy world of higher education. There was another connection too because I teach music and everyone who knew him knows about his passion for jazz. Plus, I'm an alum of Florida State University, and since Mark is an alum too, Uncle Dick became a fan of FSU football. We even got together to watch a bowl game on my dad's big screen TV one year. So I just wanted to say a few words to let the family know that I have such fond memories of Uncle Dick and that our hearts and love are with you now. Thank you.
Okay, so next we're going to call upon Judy Sagalnik, who's on Zoom, right?
It should be.
Okay.
We can call her
It's
too.
organic, but I have the number. It's organic.
Okay.
Should we just call her again?
Sure.
It worked out really well.
Okay, let's do that, yeah. I just have to unspotlight it. while we have it setting it up, I'll ask the cantor to sing for us.
Judy, this is Jason Russell, Darcy's husband. So Zoom isn't working very well, so we were gonna call you and just have you talk. Would that work? Yeah. Yeah, does that work okay for you? Okay. All right, we'll call you in about 2 minutes.
Adonai Natan, Adonai Lakach, Yehi Shem Adonai Mevorach. Adonai Natan, Adonai Lakach, Yehi Shem Adonai Mevorach. God gave and God took away. Blessed be God's name. God gave and God took away. Blessed be God's name. Adonai Natan, Adonai Lakach, Yehi Shem Adonai Mevorach. Adonai Natan, Adonai Lakach, Yehi Shem Adonai Mevorach.
So Judy, we're gonna put you up to the microphone now, okay?
Okay.
And anytime you're ready, we're ready for you.
Okay. Okay. Marv and I met Dick. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. Marv and I met Dick 55 years ago when he married one of my best friends, Roma Sims. We liked him immediately. Even though he was not a Clevelander, it didn't take him long to acquire many, many good friends. Dick was a people person. By that I mean he loved people and people loved him. Wherever and whenever we met him, we would be greeted with a warm smile and kind words. Dick always took an interest in what we were doing and always inquired about our various family members. In spite of his many health problems and issues, Dick managed to be pretty upbeat. He was definitely not a complainer. Whenever I would ask how everything was, his typical reply was status quo. Besides being an exceptional husband, father and grandfather, brother and friend, he had many interests. Just to name a few, he had a passion for music of all kinds, especially jazz. He loved tennis, poker with friends, riding in his convertible, riding his bike. He loved teaching and learning and meeting friends for lunch. The list goes on, but I will always remember the good times Marv and I had going to the Broadway shows at Playhouse Square with Roma and Dick for many years. On the way home, we would review and rate the shows. Dick and Marv turned out to be tough graders, giving many a C and sometimes a D, whereas Roma and I were more easily entertained and usually gave A's and B's. Today, we sadly have to say goodbye to a good friend and keep our memories alive. There are many. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Judy. And we will give Dick a rating of an A for his life and the performance that he finished up for us. We also wanted to make this more of an open thing, so that if anyone on the Zoom would like to share a few words, we wanted to accommodate that. I think technologically it should work out okay.
His sister
But-
Judy, the other Judy.
Oh, okay.
Redlick.
Whoops, I'm sorry.
Judy
So
Redlick.
the other Judy Redlick is on Zoom, or she's on the
I
phone.
have a phone.
Okay, we'll do it on the
If
phone.
she can.
Okay, go ahead.
Hi, this is Judy. Can you
Hi,
hear
No,
me?
it looks
Hi
good.
Judy, this is the rabbi from the service. And would you share a few words for us?
Should I speak?
Yeah, now's your turn to speak if you're able to. But just turn down your Zoom if you can, okay? On your computer.
Okay.
Oh, the mute or
All right. My brother Richard, aka Dickie. I don't know if I can do this. Was the kindest, most generous, fun to be with brother and sister can have. My whole family referred to him as Dickie, and most of my friends did also, which I got a kick out of that. Although we're 4 years apart in age, we were always very close and never ever had disagreements, debates, or fights of any kind. It's very devastating to me to think of his of my no longer having a brother, but I know how he endured so much pain the last few months. I called him on the phone each and every night while he was in the hospital and the rehab facility, and I'm thankful that I did that. I think he'll be up in heaven getting a tennis group together. He was the best of the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Judy. Do you think of anyone else in particular?
maybe Larry Siegel. Okay.
Okay.
Is anyone
So we
raising
just want to
their
see
hand?
if anyone would like to raise their hand or unmute themselves, and we could put you on to speak. Okay. I see a few people are unmuted, so if you just start speaking, or you can raise your hand and then you can start talking. If it's not working, if for some reason I can't hear you, I guess you could call Darcy's cell phone. So no one's calling.
Rabbi,
Okay, hello, we can hear you.
it's Dina and Larry Davis.
Oh, hello. Let me put you up to the microphone, okay? Okay, we can hear you very well, so you can just go ahead and speak.
Good. Condolences, of course, but I wanted to tell you a little story about Dickie. We loved going on vacations with him. You never knew what Dickie would do or where he would go or what site he would buy tickets for, and we were always busy on his vacations with us. One time we're in Toronto, and in intermission from the play we saw, you had a coupon to get a Dove ice cream bar. And when we were in line, I said, "Oh my goodness, I lost my ticket." Dickie said, "Don't worry." He tore his in half. He went through the line with his half, and I went through the line with my half. So we both ended up having intermission break. But we'll miss him very, very much, as all of us will. Thank you.
I will say something very quickly about Dickie, and you're right. We always called him Dickie from the first time I met him. Questions all the time from Dickie, and it took me a while to realize that he was more interested in what was happening to you than to tell you what was happening to him. We're going to miss him greatly. Our best.
Thank you so much. Okay, we're just going to close just a minute or so if anyone else would like to speak. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next part of the service. And this first part of the service has been about giving our honors and talking about Richard and the special life that he led. But the second part of the service is a physical aspect, where together as a community of friends, as his family, we participate in the placing of earth on the burial site. And it's not an easy thing to do, to hear the sounds and the experiences at such a hard time. But it's a very special connection that we can build, that we, his friends, his family, are the ones that encircle him in the earth and the return, from dust to dust. So at this moment now, we're going to stand and we're going to lower his casket into the ground. And then once the casket is fully lowered, we're going to ask different people, the whole group together, to line up and participate in this important mitzvah of taking care of the deceased.
Uh-oh. Nope. Do what?
We first call upon the immediate family to assist in this placing of the earth. First we'll call Mark over. Mark will take a shovel of earth, place it upon the casket, then return the shovel back to the pile, and the next person will repeat the process, take the shovel out and return it themselves. Just a little bit of dirt is good. Grandkids, you're Jason, come forward. Anybody else is welcome to take part, either this shovel or that shovel. We'll just make 2 small lines. If you don't want to touch the shovel because of social distancing, you can just throw in a piece of earth without touching the shovel too.
Watch your step on the start. That's of course indentation. Yeah.
You can just let it
I'll just hold it. I don't.
Okay, thank you so much.
Here's the stuff.
You can just take a little pebble if you want. Maybe put it in his hand and so.
Do you want me to get you a rock?
I got it. You can let it drop, no problem.
I got the shovel. We're still in that very uneven ground. I've got to
Okay, thanks. We'll try it. I don't think I want to bother Darcy. Give me text.
I just wanted to share with you a brief reading.
Let's see if I can
So many things to think about, so many thoughts we have in our head at a difficult time. But I wanted to share with you a writing that was put together by a person whose time was short. And they were going to leave this world in a few short days, and they wanted to leave their family with some strength, with a message about life. And they wrote a thing called, "To those I love and those who love me. When I am gone, release me, let me go. I have so many things to see and to do. You mustn't tie yourself to me with tears. Be happy that we had precious years. I gave you my love, you can only guess how much you gave to me in happiness. I thank you for the love you each have shown, but now it's time I traveled on alone. So grieve a well for me, if grieve you must, then let your grief be comforted by trust. It's only for a while that we must part, so bless the memories within your hearts. I won't be far away, for life goes on, so if you need me, call, and I will come. Though you can't see or touch me, I'll be near. I'll have my love around you, soft and clear. And when you must come this way alone, I'll greet you with a smile and say, welcome home." At this time, we give our condolences to his beloved family. We think about Roma, we think about Darcy, her husband Jason, his beloved son Mark, and the devoted grandchildren Duncan and Delaney, his sister, and other relatives and other good friends who made so much effort to be here today with us. All of you are in our thoughts and our prayers, and we are all with you together at this difficult time. We're going to now rise for the recitation of the memorial prayer, and we're going to stay standing for the Kaddish, and then after the recitation of the Kaddish, we will conclude our services.
Shochet שוכן במרומים, חמצי מנוחה נכונה. תחת כנפי השכינה, במעלות קדושים וטהורים, כזוהר הרקיע מזהירים לנשמת ריצ'רד בן יוסף, שהלך לעולמו, בגן עדן תהי מנוחתו. אנא בעל הרחמים, הסתירהו בסתר כנפיך לעולמים, וצרור יצרור החיים את נשמתו. אדוני הוא נחלתו, וינוח בשלום, על משכבו.
O God, exalted and full of compassion, grant perfect peace in your sheltering presence among the holy and the pure ones to the soul of our most beloved Richard W. Shapiro, Richard the son of Helen and Joseph, who has gone into his world. Master of mercy, we beseech you, remember all the worthy and righteous deeds that he performed in the land of the living. May his soul be bound up in the bond of life. The Lord is his portion. May he rest in peace. And we say together, Amen. So we conclude the service with the recitation of Kaddish. And right after the saying of the Kaddish, there's a Jewish custom that as people leave the cemetery, they are now mourners. And the first mitzvah that we can do vis-a-vis the mourners is to offer them our comforts and our condolences. Give them a prayer, give them a blessing for the challenges ahead. So after they recite the Kaddish, what we're going to do is, except for the immediate family, children, grandchildren, we're going to make two rows facing each other, and the mourners walking between those two rows nice and slow. And as they walk between the two rows of all of us, we give them our sympathies, our support, and we say the traditional blessings of comfort. So now everyone is risen, and we're going to say together nice and slow the Mourner's Kaddish. And the Mourner's Kaddish is nothing more than a statement of God's goodness and greatness, and the fact that we can be at a difficult time with so many things to be sad about and still believe in God and trust in God is a special merit for the deceased, a special gift to the deceased, and as such is an important Jewish tradition. So we'll say it all together, okay? Shanta, Vishirata, Tushikata, Venamanda, Namirande, Nama, Viru, Amen. Yehe, Shlama, Rabba, Shamaya, Hayim, Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'eru, Amen. Aseh Shalom, Booyah, Aseh Shalom, Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'eru, Amen.
Shalom Bimam, Oyas Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, V'imru, Amen. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael.
We're going to make the two rows now. Maybe on the way out here, and we'll make two rows of people. Okay. See the traditional blessing. Prayer.
Yes, members of the family walk.
Thank you.
Hey, Dad. You need to pull the car.
Okay. Should we wait a minute?
Okay, so now we're gonna take Roma if she's ready, and we'll.
Why don't I wait?
All the way.